Hello, I am Kaya Emirul from EP126 2B, and my group member is Karunisa Alia,
Assalamualaikum, I'm Karunisa Alia binti Amran.
Olga Wani,
Hello, my name is Nur Wani binti Yusri.
and Irfan Muazzam Shah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Irfan Muazzam bin Kapa.
Today, me and my group are going to present about defects of timber. First of all, I'm going to talk about defects due to conversation. Defects due to conversation. During the process of converting timber to commercial form, the following defects may occur. The first one is chip mark. This defect is indicated by the marks or sign placed by chips on the finished surface of timber. They may also be formed by the parts of a planing machine. The second one is diagonal grain. It formed due to improper saving of timber. It is indicated by diagonal mark on straight grain surface of timber. The third one is torn grain. It causes when a small depression is formed on the finished surface of timber by falling of a tool or saw. The fourth one is when it denoted by the presence of original rounded surface on the manufacturer piece of timber.
I am going to talk about defects of timber due to attacks by insects. Insects like beetles, termites, or marine boars eat woods, make holes, and weaken the strength of the woods. Beetles are small insects that make holes in almost all the sapwoods. The larvae makes tunnels through the sapwoods in all directions and turn woods into powders. Termites live in a colony. They are very fast in eating woods and make tunnels through it. Only a few good kind of woods that can withstand the action of the termites. Marine boars are found in salt water. They usually make tunnels in woods to take refuge or shelters. All these kind of timber or woods are vulnerable to this kind of insect.
Defect in timber due attack by fungi. Stand. When fungi feed on the sapwood where the food materials are stored, it causes a stand. Earthwood doesn't contain this kind of food materials and is not affected by it. Stand action causes color but does not affect the strength of the wood. Decay. Wood eating or wood destroying fungus is responsible for this type of defect in wood. This type is fungi breaks down the cell structure. Both sapwood and hardwood are affected by them. Considerable strength reduction occurs.
Hello again. This time I will talk about the defect of timber due to defective seasoning. Faulty method of seasoning causes a serious defects in roots. During seasoning of timber, the exterior or the surface layer of the timber dries before the interior surface. Stress is developed by the difference in shrinkage. In a perfect process of seasoning, stress is kept minimum by controlling shrinkage. The defects resulting from defective seasoning are as follows. Bow. Curvature in direction of the length of the timber is called bow. Cup. Curvature formed in the transverse direction of the timber is called cup. Check is a kind of crack that separates fibers but doesn't extend from one end to another. Honeycombing. Stresses is developed in the hardwood during drying process or seasoning. For these stresses, cracks are created in the form of honey texture.
be presenting to you about defects in timber due to natural forces. There are 5 natural forces defects in timber. I will be talking about knots, twists, and upsets. The first one is knots, which is the most common defects caused due to natural forces. It happens during the growth of a tree where the branches close to the ground or lower branches die. Base of those branches remain in the tree as the tree grows, and they will create imperfection known as knots. There are 2 types of knots, dead knots and live knots. Dead knots is where the remains of damaged branches become loose and fall out after drying out, wherein live knots where they are sound and firm, which is not grade of a defect if it's small. Live knots are usually not a problem as they remain firmly attached to the timber, but in dead knots, they are loosely attached and reduce strength. Knots decrease the strength of the wood and thus lower its value for structural uses, and knots can cause serious defects when the lot is perpendicular to the grains. For the second cause, it is known as twist. Twist is where the timber that has been bent turns its ends in different directions. The primary cause of this flaw is the severe winds bending of the trees. The third one is upsets. Upsets in various wood indicate that the trees was subjected to crushing or compression. Improper felling of trees, heavy wind blowing during the young age of the tree are the main reasons behind this type of defect.
Next are shakes. Shakes are timber defects that occur around the annual ring or growth ring of the timber. In other words, cracks or splits in the woods are called shakes. It may or may not be a structural problem depending upon depth and use. The main problem is aesthetic. Where the appearance is important, shakes are undesirable. Shakes can be classified into 3 main categories. The first one is star shakes. This type of shake starts propagating from the bark towards the sapwood and sometimes even toward the hardwood along the line of medullary rays. Cracks are wider on the outer edge or bark and narrower on the inside, usually sapwood, sometimes hardwood. The main reasons behind star shakes are extreme heat or frosting during the growth of the trees and rapid or uneven seasoning after cutting of the timber. Extreme heat or frost causes temperature difference, which causes shrinkage leading to the crack. Next one is cup or ring shakes. Cup shakes follow the annual growth ring. It is capable to separate the growth ring partially or completely. When the crack separates the annual ring completely, it is called ring shakes. So, all ring shakes are cup shakes, but all cup shakes are not a ring shake. Excessive frost action is the main reason for this type of crack. The last one is hard shakes. Unlike star shakes, hard shakes starts propagating from the pit to the sapwood along the lines of the medullary rays. Shrinkage of the interior part of the timber causes this crack. Next one is rind galls. The meaning of rind is bark and the gall is abnormal growth. So abnormal growth of the bark of the trees is called rind galls. Improper cutting of branches causes this abnormal growth. Woods from this portion of the timber lack strength and desirable in structure.
In conclusion, timber defects refer to various abnormalities and defects that can be found in wood. These defects can occur naturally or may be caused by external factors such as improper logging practices, insect infestation, or fungal infections. This defect can be significantly impact the quality and durability of the timber, affecting its strength, appearance, and usability. It is important to identify the addressed timber defect during the selection and processing stage to ensure that only high-quality timber is used. Defect can be minimized through proper forest management, practices such as carefully selecting and felling trees, as well as implementing effective drying and treatment methods. In summary, timber defects are a common occurrence in the wood industry, and their identification and management are essential to ensure the quality, strength, and durability of timber products. By implementing proper forest management practices and carefully inspection, the impact of defect can be minimized, resulting in high-quality timber that meets the requirements of various applications.